So this is something I like to work on with the dogs, is teaching them patience, especially when they're eating, because every dog is super excited to eat. And, to teach them patience is probably the best thing you could ever teach a dog, especially when it comes to, the outside world, when they're in the public and you need them to stay at a door. Push it back. Sit. Stay. At first they're going to be super excited just to hear the container open. No. Stay. So what I like to do is just get them used to the sound, just so they don't jump up and get excited as soon as they start hearing the sounds, which Militia was ridiculous with when I first got her. It's like all this plastic noise. She relates all this noise to eating, which excites her. She's doing really good right now. I don't think you can see her in the frame though. You can see her paw. That right there is okay. Now, this is not. Stay. And if they get up from the spot you told them to stay at while they're sitting, don't repeat the sit down, because they get too used to hearing sit down and they start to ignore it. So if they get up from where they were sitting, simply just push them back and push their butt down and pull up their chest with your hands, and you have them stay. After a while, if they keep moving, then just put them back in the same position and tell them to stay. Eventually they'll get it. It's all about patience and repeating commands. No. Back to the sound of the dog food hitting the bowl. No. Stay. No. No. Stay. No. And when they move, sometimes they'll catch themselves. They'll move slightly, and then they'll stop. But you gotta catch them as soon as they do it. And then when you finally have the food out, see how she's looking up at me for approval? You want to wait for a few seconds. And when she's looking straight up at you for a few seconds, we want patience. See, that's patience right there. That's amazing. And then while you're looking at her, see how she just jumped? Because usually I'll look straight at her and I'll tell her, it's okay. See, she heard that word, so she's looking at me for approval. Okay. Good girl. Good girl. Give them lots of love and praise when they do that. Good girl. Another thing to teach them, just so they don't get aggressive when it comes to feeding, is stick your hand in where they're eating. Just roll your hand around. Also, grabbing handfuls of the dog food and putting it in the bowl yourself gets your scent all over the food, and they connect that with you when they smell the dog food. So now, I'm going to take it away from her. Now, just so she knows that she gets to eat when I allow her to eat. She doesn't get to eat just because it's down there. And you could practice with having her sit for the whole thing all over again, but I usually don't because she's already done good. Good girl. The whole point of taking away the dog food is just to teach her that, you know, it's not okay to be aggressive when she's eating, and she doesn't get to eat when she gets to eat. She gets to eat when the human allows her to eat. So that's one thing you can work on with your dogs. It's really good. Teaches them patience. And when it comes to feeding time, it's a lot easier. Annie has already got it down real well to where she'll sit 4 or 5 feet away from the dog dish. I'll fill up the dog dish, and I could walk away, take Militia out of the kennel, because Militia will sometimes come up near the food. But actually she hasn't the last few times, because Annie's already told her no. And Militia hears the neighbors or something. That little baby bark. Okay, now it's Annie's turn. Annie, come. I don't have to give her any commands for her to do what I want. She's so used to it. Militia will do it too. She just needs a little bit more time. This is what I love about feeding time, because Annie respects me so much that she'll look up at me and wait for the command. Okay. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl, Annie Bear. Good girl. And those are a few things that you should work on with your dogs. I mean, that was a total of, what, 20 minutes? It doesn't take a lot of time. And you'll benefit it from you know, in the long run.